Hello all and welcome back to my channel Meet CISO. I hope all of you are doing good. Today we are going to cover a very interesting topic, that is secure by design. What is the meaning of secure by design? That simply means that while you are designing your software, your tool, your application, you need to keep the security in the mind from the starting phase itself. What will happen is, if you will keep security as a priority while you are designing the tool or software, you don't need to pay extra efforts, extra resources in terms of manpower, in terms of money, in terms of efforts to secure your design later on. So you need to start it from the build phase itself. In this video, we are going to cover few of the guidelines. Remember this word, guidelines. Guidelines means that will help you to secure. It's not a baseline. You might apply this principle, you might not apply this principle as per your convenience or as per the design which you are creating. So, these principles will act as a guideline to secure your application in terms of confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So, let's start with the first one. So you should always start with the threat modeling while doing the risk identification. How it will help you is, with the threat modeling you can identify threats and attack vectors before design decisions. So how you can do threat modeling is, there are certain models, we'll not go into the deep, but there are certain models like Stride, Pasta, FAIR. Yeah, Stride is spoofing, tampering, repudiation, identity disclosure, denial of service, elevation of privilege. Pasta is process of attack simulation and threat analysis. I have created a separate video on Pasta. If you'd like to watch, click on the I button at the top right. Now, second one is to do the defense in depth. So what it means is, if your one control which is used to uh, remediate the risk, if that particular control fails, there is still other controls still there to protect the system. Just to make it very simple for you, let's say 2FA, like multi-factor authentication. If the password is known to the other, OTP or biometric system as a second defense can help you. This is one of the example. Second is secure defaults. Let's say your system is secure by default. So default configurations, when it comes, or when the software is ready and it once it is sold to someone else, at that time itself it is secure. Just to give you an example, when you buy a mobile, it doesn't have any access to camera, microphone, the storage. When you will download the application, you have to manually give the access to the camera, microphone, storage, everything. So it is secured by default. So it doesn't have access to anything for any application. So that is called a secure default. So next is fail securely. So there are two terms here. I have only mentioned here fail securely. The other is fail safe. I will tell you the difference between fail securely and fail safe. Fail secure is when your system fails, it doesn't expose the data or it doesn't bypass the security. Let's say if the firewall fails, the network connection will be blocked, closed, right? That is called as fail secure. The system makes itself safe when something goes wrong, or one of the control gets failed. Instead of keeping the access open, it will block the access so that the bad actors doesn't have access to the system. What is fail safe? Fail safe is to keep the human safe. Fail safe means to keep the human as a priority. Let's say in a data center, if there is a fire, so in case of fire, the other thing is human is always a priority, human being is always a priority, so you have to make it fail safe, so doors will get automatically opened and people can run out. So that is called as fail safe. So you can have any of these principles as per your requirement while you are designing your tool, your software. This is just few examples that can help you to create a secure application. Next is privilege, separation of duty, keep it simple, and zero trust. These are also the four principles. I've kept it together for your better understanding, although these are again the four separate principles which can help you to secure your software, your application, or your asset, we can say. Yeah. So first is with least privilege. What is least privilege? The privilege is only given to the to extent which is required. You might have heard read, write access, admin access, right? So these are few of the access which is given to the to the user or process as per the requirement. So that is one of the thing that is implementing implemented by the organizations in a good way. Now organizations are getting aware of the privileges that should be handled carefully. Second is separation of duties. So you need to split the responsibilities so that there should not be any unchecked process. What is separation of duty? Let's say the first person completes the task, second person again checks it, or before sending it to the next action item or next point. So first, let's say one person did it, second checked. So that is kind of separation of duties. Third is very simple. Keep it simple. Yeah. Many organizations say KISS, KISS. Yeah. So keep it simple. So how it will help you is if you will keep any of your architecture, your way of design, if you will keep it simple, it will be easier for the developer to develop, tester to test, and the user to use it. And if it doesn't have the complex design, it will be it will be very easy to keep it safe and to reduce the vulnerabilities. Next is zero trust. So this is one of the term which is very mandatory, and for many regulations now this is kind of getting a mandatory thing. What is zero trust? So never assume anything is trustable. Always verify identity and context. How you can verify, like in terms of location, in terms of IP address, in terms of timing of access, in terms of the behavior of the access. So you always have zero trust model to ensure the things are safe. You can give the access for certain time, let's say during the change period, during the particular incident resolution period. You just give the particular admin access to the user. Let's say if the change time is 3 to 5 p.m., the access is only given to 3 to in between 3 to 5 p.m. So that is called as zero trust. Let's go next. So next is trust, privacy, and shared responsibility. So privacy by design. Few minutes ago we discussed this example with the mobile. So what happens is if there is no access to camera, microphone, or to the photos, let's say, in that case you have the privacy. You cannot say that application has access to everything. So while performing the architecture, you should keep the privacy in mind, and you have to create the design with the privacy. Trust but verify, that is again the same, with that is somehow matching with the zero trust. Even trusted system users and past partners must be continuously validated. Trust is earned, not assumed. So let's say you have any of the third party vendors, right? In that case, you have to verify their access, verify their work, verify their agreements, verify everything with respect to third parties to keep your organization safe. There is a complete team in the organizations called as TPRM, third party risk management. They do third party risk management, they do evaluate the vendors continuously, they do check how many tickets are open, how many breaches has been done by the team in the last 6 months, year, how much risks are still open, how many vulnerabilities they have, what are the financial backgrounds of that particular um, vendors. Are there any internal security breaches happening within the third parties? How much access do they have? How many people we have given access to? How much amount of access is given? Whether that is valid, whether that is reviewed, when it was last reviewed. So there are many things. I will not go into the deep to keep it simple, but that is called as trust but verify. Next is shared responsibility. Shared responsibility security is a joint effort between vendors, users, and organizations. No single party owns it entirely. This is not from the technology perspective. So every business runs under three things: people, process, and technology. So this is part of a process where you have to mention to the users, to your employees, to the users, to the clients, to the vendors, that it is a shared responsibility. Security is everyone's responsibility. It is not a single party responsibility. So that is called as a shared responsibility. And you have to have the awareness trainings and uh, pamphlets or anything that you feel like that can be shared with the people, yeah, to your vendors, so that they understand what is shared responsibility. Let's see how much. Which of the following best represents the principle of least privilege in secure system design? A. Allowing users to access all systems, resource to improve efficiency, granting users only the permission necessary to perform their task. C. Design system with maximum redundancy to prevent downtime. D. Encrypting all data transmission to protect confidentiality. So as this is the easy one, what you have to see here is least privilege. What is the least privilege? So when we are talking about the privilege, redundancy is not the correct answer. Encrypting is again not the correct answer. Now, you allowing users access all systems. So that is the paradox or vice versa of least privilege. So the correct answer is B. Let's go to the next question. A financial application allows users their application history to view their transaction history. During a system failure, the application displays an error page that includes the database connection string and end user tokens. Which secure design principle is most violated here? So which is the most violated principle? So talking about the least privilege is to give the minimum privilege. So that is not what we are talking. We are not talking about the privilege here. We are not talking about the secure defaults. Secure defaults means the default security that has been placed while the application or any of the asset being developed. B is fail securely and C is defense in depth. So as we talk about, the application displays an error page that includes the full database connection. So it displays the database connection string and user session tokens. So that is fail securely. Defense in depth is if the one control fails, the other control is there to help design secure. So that is not the correct answer. Even if the system fail, it should fail securely. It should not uh, show the database connections and user session token, because that can be taken and that can be used somewhere else. So the correct answer is fail securely. So thank you for watching till the end. Please do like the video, share with your friends and colleagues, and do subscribe to this video. Do subscribe to this channel, and thank you and have a nice day.